Please be seated. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. What a beautiful day we have for this special event. The College of Arts and Sciences Education Department Graduate Hooding Ceremony and Reception. I'm honored to be here today to join you in the celebration of the accomplishments of our MSc tags and doctoral students. This is a day of joy and recognition and a coming together of a community of people who together have contributed to each other's lives over the past few years. None of us can fully appreciate how this recent journey has affected one another and will affect one another in the future. Our personal lives, the lives of our family members, our communities, or even how the world will be changed because we all came together. All of us who are present here in the University of New England community have played many roles. As students, as family members and loved ones of students, as administrative assistants, as enrollment counselors, as student support specialists, as marketing specialists, as faculty, and as administrators. So today we're here to honor our students who have been living through rigorous completion of transformative coursework while holding down jobs, juggling family responsibilities, along with the many other challenges that life brings to us. We also want to honor the families and loved ones of the students who have been supporting the efforts of the students in the audience. And those people perhaps have had less time to spend with their loved ones over the last few years. They've taken on extra responsibilities and they've made sacrifices so that their loved ones can pursue their dream that has brought us all together today. And the UNE staff and faculty that you see here today that we'll be introduced to have also put their hearts and their souls into their work, and they've devoted themselves and worked diligently in making this day possible. So we're all here together as a community that has a bond that will live on for years, and all of the efforts of the students who are being recognized today will have an impact on the families in this room, the schools in which you're all associated with, and even in the communities that you're a part of. I have a couple of quotes that I'd like to share with you today. The first is from B.B. King, who you may know passed away overnight. And he said, "The beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you." And the second quote that I have is from Cyril O'Hoole, who was a pioneer in the area of adult education. And he said, "The desire to learn, like every other human characteristic, is not equally shared by everyone. To judge from casual observation, many people possess it only fitfully and in modest measure. But in a world which sometimes seems to stress the pleasures of ignorance, some men and women seek the rewards of knowledge and do so to a marked degree. They read, they create or join groups in order to share their studies, they take courses, they belong to organizations whose aims are wholly or partly educational, they visit museums and exhibits, they listen to radio and watch television with discrimination, and they travel to enlarge their horizons. The desire to learn seems, in fact, to pervade their existence. They approach life with an air of openness and an inquiring mind." So today, I congratulate everyone in this hall who has an inquiring mind. I congratulate everyone who supported and worked for our graduate students, and I especially want to congratulate our students who've made the sacrifices necessary to achieve your degrees. I hope when we all leave here today and continue with our lives, we'll continue to be lifelong learners, to encourage others to be lifelong learners, and to use our knowledge and shared experiences to help others and better our world. So at this point, what I'd like to do is ask our graduates to stand and to face their family members and loved ones that are there, and to give their family members and loved ones a big round of applause for all that they've done for them while they've been going through their to acknowledge and thank our honored faculty and staff who are here and who have contributed to our graduate success. First, the faculty. And if you could stand when I read your name a little bit. Audrey Bartholomew, Michael Bowden, David Canan, Don Canan, Lane Clark, Michelle Pillay, Karen Deterding, Bill Dowdy, Courtney Graffius, Carol Marcotte, Leanna Sterling, Carol Holmquist, and Heather Stavrier. Please give them a round. Okay, and so there's a big system that runs behind all of the courses that you will take. And I'd like to recognize the staff who are behind that at this point. And if you're not already standing, you can stand. And I hope I don't miss anybody. Michelle Littlefield, Kristen Bloom, Ariel Flamen, Haley Kinsella, Lucas Good, Colby Avro, Denisa Sanguinario, Elizabeth Benz, and Lucille Smith. So please give them all. Thank you. Okay, and so we're really lucky to have caring and dedicated student support specialists who work with our students throughout the years that they're here. And I'd like to just recognize them at this point again. And I have a small token of our appreciation. If they could come up when I call their names. Kristen Bloom, Ariel Flavin, and Haley Kinsella. Please come up, and everyone please give them a round. And now I'd like to ask Lucille Smith to come up and to also be recognized. Most students have worked with Lucille during their career. Lucille handles much of the administrative work for the MSc department, and she's been with UNE for over 25 years. Her historical knowledge of the programs and of the university is really invaluable to the program, and we couldn't do it without her. And I'd also like to recognize Lucille for the hard work that she's put into coordinating this ceremony. She's the person who puts this all together and the quality and the students. Please give Lucille a good round. So this time I'd like to introduce our speaker, Dr. Michael Bowden. Michael joined the University of New England in the early 90s, where he was founding dean of a new college offering innovative new programs, including graduate distance education degree programs. He's been a visiting scholar at institutions in Germany, Mexico, Japan, and China. And he was awarded a Fulbright Fellowship to Ghana in 2006. During his tenure at UNE, Michael was instrumental in launching numerous academic programs, including UNE's first major international program in Israel, the Physician Assistant Program, and the university's first distance education offerings, beginning with the MSc program in 1993, followed by the CAGS program, which was the first fully online program in 2000, and more recently the EDD program. All of these programs to date have graduated a total of more than 9,000 bachelor's and graduate degree candidates. Michael has over 100 publications and presentations, including 3 books. He's written extensively in the field of distance education, leadership, and change. He's recognized internationally for his expertise in distance education, and he's collaborated with colleagues worldwide. He has received several awards, including the 2007 College of Arts and Sciences Senior Faculty Scholarship Award. And in 2012, he was granted the title of Emeritus Professor by the UNE trustees. Currently, he teaches in the EDD program and maintains an active research and writing agenda, and he also serves on the editorial board of several professional journals, and he mentors younger scholars. Michael continues with an active work schedule, but he also plays hard. He has been a competitive athlete in multiple sports, and he's won well over 100 age group prizes in running. And before I ask him to come up to speak, I'd also like to acknowledge Michael's generosity in establishing an endowed scholarship fund at UNE that supports an online graduate academic efforts. So I thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Will. I think my real only claim to fame is that I can compete with Lucille for longevity at UNE, because I've been here almost 25 years. And when I came in the early 90s, I thought it would be maybe a 5-year gig, because my usual longevity in the rigors of higher ed politics is about 5 years. And here it is almost 25 years later, and I'm still affiliated with UNE. So I really appreciate the opportunity, since I'm one of those gray-bearded old guys that's been around quite a while, to reflect on a little bit on the legacy of distance education and to provide some context for you folks who are graduating today, because obviously you're not doing this in the vacuum. There's a long history. And rather than make it give the tone of an officious formal speech, I'd like to, even though I won't actually converse with you until we're under the white tent, I'd like to sort of do this in an informal conversational style, if I can. So when I came to UNE in the early 90s, I first proposed the notion of teaching students at a distance who would not only take courses, but would actually get a degree. Can you believe that? Get a degree from a university without even having to come to campus. And this wildly crazy idea that I had, frankly, most people at UNE had no idea what I was talking about. And those who kind of figured it out weren't particularly enthusiastic about it. But the president at the time came out of retirement, and I think he didn't think it was going to work, so he figured he had nothing to lose, so he said, okay, give it a try. So that was the genesis of the Master of Science in Education. We started that program with a corporate partner that was in another part of the country, and so that in itself was a rather radical idea at UNE, that a nonprofit higher ed institution would partner with a for-profit organization in Florida to launch a master's program. So we launched the program, and we worked mightily to get the program up and running, and we did in fact succeed. And then that sort of gave me the boldness 7 years later to propose the first fully online graduate program, which actually was a CAGS program in 2000, the year 2000. And I have to say that in spite of the success academically and financially of the MSE program, we had hundreds of graduates already after 7 years. The traditional faculty at UNE who had no experience and knowledge of distance education, certainly online education, were very skeptical. And there was the usual posturing and brouhaha and opposition and resistance to what? You aren't happy to start the master's program? Now you want to start this so-called, certificate of advanced graduate study, and the students don't even have to come to campus. So there was a lot of turmoil and a lot of meetings where we had to convince different constituencies that we weren't replacing classroom education. We were simply adding a new dimension of teaching and learning at UNE. We weren't threatening anybody. We weren't going to take students away from existing programs. We were going to introduce something new, a delivery system, a new curriculum, and market it to students who wouldn't otherwise come to UNE. What's not to like about that? It happened that the day that the faculty senate was going to vote the CAGS, and this hopefully this little anecdote will be of interest to those of you who are in the CAGS program. I had to be at a meeting up the coast of Maine that day. I couldn't be at two places at once, and I had to go to the meeting. So I was pretty nervous, and I thought, if I'm there, it could be the difference of this program crashing and burning. But then I also thought, well, maybe if I am there, they'll stone me to death, for yet another one of these programs. Well, the vote, to make a short story long, a long story short, the vote, I was so anxious before I drove back down from Rockland or wherever I was. I made a phone call to my assistant, and I was still a dean then, and I asked, what was the outcome of the vote? They voted 19-1 in favor of the vote for the program, and 19-1 vote in favor of the CAGS program. And this is after all these months of them harassing us and saying we don't need this, etc. And here's the irony of the vote. The one person who voted against this new online program was the only faculty senate member at UNE who had any experience in online education. Go figure. Anyway, I wanted to share a little bit of that history with you. And then, about 10 years ago, another idea surfaced and wouldn't go away, and that was the notion of a doctoral program. Since we had so much success, had attracted so many strong students, a lot of really dedicated faculty to the first two programs, I went to the then president and proposed that we seriously consider a doctoral program. And to my chagrin, this was about 10 years ago, and that president was not convinced that this was a good idea. And sometimes when you have a good idea, it dies of loneliness, and you have to bide your time and wait for the right moment, and wait for new allies to come along, and even if they aren't going to champion a new program, as long as they don't oppose you and give you a little bit of freedom to cultivate the idea and look for allies, then these innovative new programs, have a chance to succeed. And so then we were able to launch 4 years ago the EDD program, which was fully online. And I can assure you, even after 2 very successful graduate online programs, the EDD still encountered resistance at UNE. And I have to say, with all candor, and it's a sad commentary about higher education, a lot of faculty have never had the excitement and the opportunity to work with mature adult students who don't come to campus. And when they do, they say, my God, I wish I had gotten involved in this earlier. But if they don't have any experience, they tend to be very suspicious. And there's a certain amount of elitism, and they're convinced that the only good teaching happens, in a classroom with the students sitting and dutifully listening to the professor give a lecture. And I think, finally, when you consider the amazing statistics that Will shared with you, if we separate the online graduate students, the programs that you represent, that's half of the 9,000 that Will alluded to. So over 4,500 people, as of tomorrow, will have gotten a degree from UNE through a distance education type of delivery system. That's pretty remarkable. And I think we've really changed the climate to some degree at UNE, and it now, our online programs win awards, national awards in recognition for the quality of the programs. So it's not just, impressive numbers, it's the quality of the programs, and it's the important, the contribution we're making, and the contribution that you're making. There are going to be a lot of graduates, a lot of young undergraduates tomorrow whooping it up at commencement. And they deserve to be excited and proud of their accomplishments. But there's, I think, a significant difference with older, mature working adults who make the effort and succeed in getting an online graduate degree. Because after this weekend is over, on Monday morning, most of you are going back to work. And you're hitting the ground running. You're not going to be saying on Monday, what am I going to do next with my life? You're continuing this important work that you've been doing, and hopefully you've grown professionally and personally, and you're going to be richer for it. Not only you as an individual person, but as a practitioner, and you're going to make you're making, not putting it in the future, I'm putting it in the past and present, you're making your students, your colleagues, your schools, your other organizations you work in, and the communities where you live, you're making those places richer because of the education you've had and the new skills that you've learned, the knowledge that you've acquired. So you are making a real impact in society. And the good news is you've probably been doing it a while, and this is just an additional feather, or I should say hood, that's bringing you to the next level of excellence in your field. And that's really a very worthwhile accomplishment, and that's why the faculty is so proud of you. And I also want, while we're talking about our community of scholars and practitioners, I want to echo what Will said with his gracious remarks about the faculty and staff. It takes a lot of work to do this. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make non-traditional alternative programs succeed, because it's often in the environment of a very conventional, traditional academic system. And other administrators and faculty and staff at the University of New England, I'm sure, work hard and do good work and deserve accolades. But I think in the business that we're in, as teachers, administrators, and students, it's a little more demanding because we're constantly having to be advocates for this kind of teaching and learning, because it still has its skeptics. And it's by getting good graduates like yourselves that help legitimize and strengthen distance education all across the land. And now, 1/3, would you believe 1/3 of UNE's enrollments are online? And 20 years ago, people didn't have a clue as to what we were talking about when we referred to online education. So, even traditional environments can be changed. So I do want to thank everyone who's contributed, and this includes, department chair, it includes academic officers who aren't closely involved in the program. It includes the staff, it includes the faculty, and of course it includes all of you. I mean, it is truly a community. And I would be remiss at this moment, even though this is a celebratory event, when I'm speaking of faculty, I want to remind you all and myself that it's not just thousands of students who have successfully gone through this exciting experience together. It's not thousands, but dozens of faculty who've taught hundreds of students in the past 20 years. And I was sad to learn just in the past 6 weeks we've lost 2 longtime faculty members who were part of our community in the Department of Education, and specifically with the online graduate program. Some of you may have had them as mentors, and those of you who didn't, just know that these people made an important contribution to the success of our programs. And so at this moment, just a brief moment of honoring Dr. Tom Sparris and Dr. Sherilyn Hatch, who have both recently died. So finally, this is a celebratory day, but I did feel it was the right thing to do to recognize our colleagues. Finally, what I'd like to do is to say one more time that you have done some tremendous accomplishments as scholars. You continue to do important work, and you know we have a marketing. We often joke that we have a whole marketing, a cadre of professional marketing people who market the online programs. But I'm convinced, and even though I respect the good work that they do, that it's you people who are the product of these programs, who talk to your colleagues and fellow teachers or other, whatever field that you're in. You're the ones who really are the best salespeople for these exciting programs. So in closing, I'd like to thank you for what you've done, whoever you are and whatever your role is here. Thank you for the accomplishments that you've achieved, and please, I wish you every success in the important work that you will continue to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, so now I'd like to turn our focus to our accomplished students. This special hooding ceremony adds to the graduation experience by making it possible to focus on advanced degree candidates and their accomplishments. It provides graduate faculty and staff and family and friends an opportunity to witness the ceremonial hooding of our graduate students. The master's degree hood has been traced back to the Middle Ages during the 12th and 13th centuries when the university first came into being. Originally associated with the church, the scholars and pupils of these first colleges were largely clerks or aspiring clerics. The cap, gown, and hood we know today grew out of the clerical dress of that period. The most distinctive element of the academic garb is the hood, a medieval relic that's modeled on the cowls worn by monks to ward off the cold drafts of the English monasteries. And in our modern world, and in your world, it will now be useful in warding off the long, cold Maine winters. The hooding ceremony at the University of New England signifies a scholarly and personal achievement in the spirit of this long-honored tradition. I'd like to just take a couple minutes just to introduce the people who will be doing the hooding. You have some very distinguished people who will be doing that. I'd like to appreciate that all of their work. And then we'll start with the official ceremony. Dr. Carol Marcotte will have the honor of hooding our MSc CAG students. Carol earned a doctorate in school administration and supervision at Byrne University International Graduate School in St. Kitts, West Indies. She was a classroom teacher and a special education teacher. She was a principal for 8 years. Her first role at UNE was as an adjunct faculty in 2001, and now as an associate lecturer in the education department at UNE. Carol is concentration leader for the CAGS and MSc program. and the Master's Educational Leadership Program. Dr. Marcotte is a past president of Maine ASCD and has served on several critical committees for the International Curriculum Development Organization. She's been a Title I coordinator and served as a delegate for the Ambassador to Ambassador Education Program, working with Vietnam and Cambodia. She's been a member of the Maine Curriculum Leaders Association since it began in 2010. And in 2010, they acknowledged Carol as the Curriculum Leader of the Year in Maine. In addition, Carol was presented with the Friends of UNE Award twice, and among her numerous honors, First Lady Barbara Bush presented Carol the Maine Family Literacy Grant in 2006 and 2008. Carol has shared her expertise through service to the Regional School Unit 23 as a board member, and she's currently chair of the school board in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. And I'm also pleased that Dr. Michelle Collet will have the honor of putting our EDD students. Dr. Collet is Director of the Education Doctorate Program and a professor in the Education Department. She's a former public school teacher. She taught music, and she's a scholar practitioner who integrates teaching and scholarship in higher education and PK-12 settings. Her research interests include teacher professional socialization with attention to how life experience shapes teachers' professional identities. Her book, Everyday Teacher Leadership, was inspired by teacher leaders changing schools and communities in some of the most challenging urban settings in San Francisco and in the Bay Area. She's worked as a school leadership coach in both urban and rural settings with school leaders engaged in developing professional learning communities, and she continues to study constructivist teaching, leading, and an equity-focused inquiry in the context of online graduate education. Dr. Collet also plays bassoon, and she's an excellent musician. She plays in community musical groups. And I asked everyone for a short bio before this ceremony. And at the end of her bio, she said that she attempts to parent 2 teenagers. And I just have to say that I've met those teenagers, and she's doing a great job, and so is her husband, and they're wonderful, wonderful kids and great human beings, so she's done a great job of that. I also want to congratulate Dr. Collet and thank her for her efforts in developing the doctoral program. In the face of some extraordinary challenges, Michelle has been successful in leading the program, and today, as our first doctoral students are hooded, her tireless efforts on behalf of our students and efforts to build a program that has deep integrity are coming to fruition. I also want to recognize our colleague, Bill Dowdy, who will be calling out the names as you come up. Dr. Dowdy moved to higher education after 31 years of experience in K-12 public education across 3 states. He has served students in Maine for 25 years in the roles of principal, curriculum coordinator, assistant superintendent, and State Department of Education consultant. Bill teaches in the MSD program, and he has taught almost all of our educational leadership courses. Bill is also a Quality Matters Master Course Reviewer, and he's certified as an online instructor by the Sloan C Consortium. Dr. Dowdy is also a musician, plays the piano and sings, and you will sometimes find him out in our local waters kayaking and swimming. We'll also be joined for a couple of students for the hooding. Dr. Carol Holmquist will be joining us, and Dr. Donna Harlan will also join us, like particular students. So at this time, I'd like to begin the hooding ceremony.
Julie Anderson.
Let's wait, we need to get this discussion on the next year.
Candace Antonellis. Margaret Booth. Robert Casino. Kimberly Cordovar. Deidre Cutter. Tessa De Silva. Michelle Eastman. Edward Rogan. Jason Hamill. Bethany Hatt. Toby Martin. Laura Megan. Christopher Michelle. Ashley Roseboy. Patricia Goulet. Nancy Fothergill. Tracy Cobrin. Jean Neville. Aaron Russell. Tiffany Smeltercock.
And our doctoral students, Dr. Calais and our guests will perform later.
William Cowan IV. Karina Craftsman. Danielle Denini. Wendy Pratt. Kimberly Roberts Morandi. Julia Rose. Heather Wilmot.
Okay, so I'd like to ask our students to stand just one more time so we can recognize them and give them a round of All right, that was pretty good. So before I invite Dr. Collet to the podium for closing remarks, I want to leave you with just another quote from B.B. King that I hope will carry with you after the ceremony in your hearts. He said, "There are so many sounds I still want to make, so many things I haven't yet done." And Dr. Collet will give us a closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone. My friend Elisa Lasky used to say, "I'm all that stands between you and supper, so I'll make it short." So my remarks have to do with the journey metaphor as well, as some of you might suspect. I wish to appreciate and commend the first graduates to earn the education doctorate along with our CAGS and MSc colleagues. Our faculty strive to support your professional development as well as benefit from your collective wisdom. Instructors who are privileged to work in graduate education lead courses more knowledgeable about the field and their own practice, as we hope all of you have. Graduate education, whether a workshop, a single course, or a program, is a journey. In the EDD, we began the program in the summer of 2012 with a revised translation of "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." It was suggested a more correct translation from the original Chinese would be, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet." This translation spoke to us because that image placed the voyager in the midst of a longer journey, rather than at the beginning of one. Graduate students in professional programs do not enter graduate study as beginners or individuals who have not worked, studied, and led through early and middle stages of their careers. Indeed, many of you are moving into more visible roles in your respective fields and will carry the collective wisdom of your own practice and formal study into new organizations. You have not made this journey alone. In dialogue with instructors, workplace colleagues, program peers, and significant others, each of you has followed a path to the next stage of professional and intellectual development in collaboration and dialogue with others. As you continue your journey as leaders, consider this remark by Paulo Freire, whose reflections about the importance of dialogue in learning and leading inspired my dissertation, Dialogue as a Language of Learning. He said, "Leaders who do not act dialogically, but insist on imposing their decisions, do not organize the people, they manipulate them. They do not liberate, nor are they liberated. They oppress." We transform ourselves, our organizations, and our communities through dialogue with others as we walk along the path or paths together. Stay in dialogue as you move to the next stage of your career. Freire was also known to say, "We make the road by walking," perhaps borrowed from Antonio Machado, a Spanish poet. "Wanderer, your footsteps are the road, and nothing more. Wanderer, there is no road. The road is made by walking. By walking, one makes the road, and upon glancing behind, one sees a path that will never be trod again. Wanderer, there is no road, only wakes upon the sea." Continue your journey as scholars and practitioners in dialogue with others, and continue to share your path as you make it. I have some housekeeping instructions. No one is to move. I'm a former band director, and as you know, they can be. Okay, so the first bit of instructions has to do with that there will be a group photo. The city hall point, I think it's back there. All right, so will you be there to flag us? Okay, so group photo, that's all the graduates. You have an outfit, go over there. All right, and the second thing has to do with the recession. So if the families and friends can remain seated, faculty and the new graduates will recess out, and then you may come afterwards. So if you get excited, just hold on to your chair. That's good. And finally, the good news is about supper, which is in the tent over there outside. And we will gather there after the photo and after everybody's chatted and caught up, then we'll meet under the tent for a meal. Thank you very much for coming out tonight and traveling so